welcome to Ultimate Mini Extreme, the second in our series of hardcore mini DVDs. Once again, we're here at Kerbera Sprint Circuit, and we've got another selection of really manic machines. This is far from a repeat performance. With the cars we've got here this time, we're running the full circuit at Kerbera, something we didn't do last time around. And that's going to give the cars a great opportunity to really stretch their legs. And to add a little spice to the occasion, this time we're going to time the laps. That's going to instantly expose which cars are seriously quick around the circuit. And I'm sure it'll also throw up a few great surprises. So what cars have we got here today? Let's introduce you to the contenders. Up for grabs, we've got this amazing 160 bhp Turbo A Series. A convertible with a fantastic CAD 16-valve A Series. A 1312 with nitrous injection. A Clubman with 195 bhp from an 1800cc Honda VTEC. With two bike engine offerings, this being a 190 bhp Honda Blackbird example. And this with no less than two Yamaha R1 engines. Back in the A Series team, we've got a supercharged 1380 with 148 bhp. And finally, here's our baby of the bunch, 115 bhp 1380. And to find out which works best and which can post the fastest laps, we've once again called in the services of 3 times Mini Miglia champ, Bill Solis. Hi Bill, we've got road cars here, running them on the circuit. Just talk me through some of the problems that they're going to face today.
They're all going to have to work a lot harder than normal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everything will be examined well,
okay.
And we'll find out their weaknesses.
Are there going to be particular areas where they're going to struggle?
Brakes always works hard. There's 2 really quite big stops here that they've got to do, and,
okay.
and those, within a minute of each other. So yeah, the heat generated in the brakes will mean that, the pads are going to be working much harder, running at much higher temperatures, probably smoking a bit. Some of the heat goes into the fluid. If the fluid's not in good condition, we'll have brake pedals going soft and.
Okay, so that's quite an issue. Okay, Bill, now these engines, they're going to be running at quite high revs. What's the sort of problems you're going to have with that?
We'll obviously respect the owner's instructions in terms of rev limits. Okay. But yeah, we'll be working at the upper end of things. But we'll be where the engine builders intended the engines to be used. So
okay.
I think we'll be all right with that.
Now you're going to take us for a quick lap around the circuit, I think,
Indeed.
just to show us what it's about.
Jump in, belt up, I'll show you.
Excellent, fantastic.
Great.
Look forward to it.
Here we are in Martin Walker's 195 bhp VTEC. It's the ideal machine to show you our test track. So across the start line, here we go then, high speed into the fastest corner on the circuit. We've trimmed a bit of speed off, but we're hard on it again now, down towards the tight corner. Here comes the biggest test for the brakes, and we're going right down through the box as well. This is frustratingly tedious. I'm desperately waiting to go again now, and you can see here it goes. We're nailed again now, and up through the box, feeling for the grip. There's a surface change here, adverse camber coming up as well, and it compounds the difficulty. But now we're going into the tight part of the circuit, turning with loads of speed. The track narrows dramatically. We're examining the handling characteristics now. It's like threading a needle. We're pushing and playing chicken with the limits. Gather it all up here. Now go again and sprint towards the hairpin, where it's another big test for the brakes. Get it turned in, try and get the apex just there. Now nail it again. Here the horsepower comes back into play. It's back to that side of things. Sprint, extend each gear right to the red line. Here comes the finishing line. I think that's a great lap. What do you think?
Cheers, Bill. Thanks for that. Now here's our Ultimate Mini Extreme leaderboard. As you can see, we provisionally position the cars on the basis of their engine outputs. So Matt Fox's 345 bhp Twin R1 Pad Mini currently holds top spot, while Chris Hill's 115 bhp Mini is chasing up the back markers. But one thing's for sure, I doubt very much that the end positions of these cars will mirror those of their starting places.
Hi, my name's Chris Hill. I built this over 2 years. It's powered by a Bill Richards 1380 A Series engine, producing about 115 brake horsepower.
Chris started this project by sourcing a really sound body shell, which he's left in its original white paint scheme. With almost no restoration work, he saved loads of dosh, which he's been able to plough into other areas of the project. Inside, there's a more focused track day feel, with figure-hugging bucket seats, Momo steering wheel, and a complete lack of carpeting. No great surprises under the bonnet, with a clean and uncluttered engine bay, but it's the Bill Richards built engine and gearbox package that really helps this car deliver. Okay, here we go. This is the first lap. That 1380 certainly sounds strong. It looks as though Bill is instantly at home in this car. He's pushing through Kerberos tight corners with total commitment, even at this early stage in the drive. It'll be really interesting to see what his best time is by the end of the session. You can instantly tell that the engine is pulling hard and cleanly up the straights. 115 bhp may not be a lot when compared to modern hot hatches, but when the Mini weighs so little, it's the power to weight ratio that really counts here. Of course, power is only half the story, and Bill's only able to fully exploit this car because it also features a really well-sorted suspension package with adjustable dampers, adjustable front tie bars, rear camber brackets and other typical upgrades. In Kerberos' tighter sections, these features really take on a precedent over power and may prove vital when it comes to gaining a good lap time at the end of the day. Yeah, no doubt about it. This is a good grunty engine with lots of torque. Up to the end of the main straight, tucking in. And here's a tricky little area of the circuit to get right. Down to this little roundabout. Yeah, very clean. Okay, only a few corners to go now. Hold on, Bill. Down to the last turn and then it's up the main straight. Flat out. And there you have it. Let's see what the lap time is. Okay, well, with nothing to compare it to, that time doesn't mean much, but I suspect it's going to do surprisingly well. Looks a good one to kick us off, Bill.
Great start, that.
Excellent. Now, this is only a 1380. It's the least powerful car here, although 115 bhp is hardly small. How'd you get on?
I think it'll prove competitive.
Yeah.
It's lovely engine, really strong. Simple gearbox, just ordinary 4-speed box, works nicely. Great handling, really good. I felt comfortable in it immediately, and yeah.
Yeah, you look very smooth and quick through there.
Yeah, no problem at all. Really, a really good, well sorted, nice, usable car. Will work well on the road as well.
Okay.
That's that's a really important consideration, I think.
Terrific. Now I'm going to give you one option to change just one thing.
New seat, please.
All right, you're pretty
Everything
quick.
everything else, mint.
Yeah.
Seat, not good. But I don't think it suits Chris either. I think they're on the list for changing. But
Okay.
yeah, no, it's an important thing for a driver, the seat, and often overlooked. And yeah, it would be improved, this car, for it changes.
Fantastic. Onwards and upwards. Next up, it's a CAD 16 valve.
Oh, that'll do.
Hi, my name's Dave Usher. I've been building this Mini Cabriolet for about 3 years. It's powered by a KD 16 valve twin cam producing 146 horsepower.
Okay, now you might think we've gone completely bonkers including a Mini convertible in our lineup for Ultimate Mini Extreme. But Dave Usher works for Kent Auto Developments, otherwise known as CAD, and Dave's shopping list for Ultimate Specification Mini components has been extensive. Inside, and it's amazingly standard, even the back seats are still in place. But open the bonnet, and wow, now that really is an engine. CAD's specially designed twin-cam head for the aging A-Series is not only a visual delight, but also a route to genuine performance. Dave's example delivers no less than 146 brake horsepower.
Okay, red line.
Well, the rev counter goes to 7, so call it 7.
Okay, right, great. Very generous of you. 5-speed box.
Yeah.
Down for first, yes. Okay. Anything else I need to know?
Not really, don't think. You
Thrash the nuts off it.
Yeah, thrash it.
Excellent.
Good grief! Now this may look like some namby-pamby pose machine, but no Mini convertible has ever gone this fast. I mean, Bill's got the hang of this car quickly. Okay, now we have had some variable weather here at Kerbera, and the convertible is struggling a little bit with some damp sections of the circuit. From the wheel spin out of some of the damper corners here, it's clear that traction's going to be a bit of a problem. But up the straights, this car genuinely looks quick. More than that, it also sounds sublime. Just listen to that 16-valve engine. Dave's extensive list of CAD suspension upgrades are really playing their part out there. Adjustable tie rods and bottom arms are matched with lightweight alloy rear swing arms to give this car a high spec and a clearly capable setup. Now the 16 valve's an interesting conversion to consider. Not only does it help get more air in and out of the combustion chambers, but running conventional carburation rather than some other forced induction system means this high-powered Mini delivers big power with complete predictability. Oh, it's still looking fairly slippy out there. Go on, Bill. Still an amazing car. Now just sit back and watch this in-car footage. Now this is looking better. I think Bill's getting a drier run now. Yeah, he's able to get a bit more power coming out of that bottom corner, and then it's straight up the main straight. Now this car has tiny 10-inch wheels, and with the 16 valves torquey delivery, traction could be a real issue. Just watch as Bill powers out of the tighter bends. It's likely he could be losing vital moments. So it'll be interesting to see how the lap times go. Oh, this looks like being quite a performance. Along with Chris Hill's 1380 we've just seen, I have to say that these two look like setting an incredibly high standard for those still to run. I wonder what the 16 valve's best time's going to be. Here it comes. Okay, let's see what Bill made of it. Now, Bill, when we were planning Ultimate Mini Extreme, I never thought we were going to have a soft top in here.
No, that wasn't my expectation, but boy, it does work well.
There's a reason for that, of course, because there's a 16 valve engine under the bonnet. It's a CAD 16 valve on the A series. Does that work well on the track?
Absolutely fantastic, yeah. Yeah, I've got a great deal of affection for this engine solution. It's brilliant. It's on top of the KD gearbox as well.
Okay.
That's nice. Dog leg first, a bit different. Very close ratios. Yeah, the car just drives fantastically. It's a beautifully nimble chassis. Can do just about anything with it.
So there's been some clever strengthening going on here to put in the strength.
Yes, there must be. I'd like to sort of have the ins and outs of it. Yeah, no, it does work really well indeed.
Okay, so a really good package. What about brakes and things like that? It's got CAD brakes on it.
Yeah, the brakes are good. They need to be.
Yeah.
And yes, 6-pot calipers in this case.
crikey, yeah.
They've addressed the issue there. When you put all the horsepower in, you've got to back that up with the stopping capability as well.
Now we're giving you the option of one thing to change. What's that going to be?
I think for this car, being as we're going so quickly in it, we really did ought to have a full harness.
Yeah, okay.
I'm slithering around in the seat,
All right.
hanging on for dear life to the steering wheel. So, yeah, it need to be secured in a bit.
I can understand that. Okay, brilliant. Thank you.
Cheers.
Next up, it's a 1380 supercharged.
Brilliant.
Hi, my name's John O'Hills. This is my RSP Cooper. I've had it since new. It's powered by a 1380 supercharged engine with 148 brake horsepower.
I think I really ought to apologise to those of you with a max power mentality, because none of the Minis we've had on so far have looked anything other than rather standard. It seems body kits and big wheels just don't mix it up with monster performance. This car looks identical to the way it left the factory. It's rather more special on the inside, with a wooden picket carbon dash and a few other additional instruments, plus some great looking leather Cooper seats. Pop the bonnet and it all gets rather more interesting. John has imported a supercharger from the States, and when allied to a 1380 capacity and a full complement of decent internal upgrades, delivers no less than 148 bhp and 142 foot-pounds of torque. This really is an intriguing car. Essentially standard on the outside, it features a hugely unusual route to big power. The supercharger could be a real winner, since it should feature none of the usual lag problems associated with other forced induction systems. Yet again, this is another car which is equally well spec'd in the suspension department. All the usual upgrades are found here. And John has also installed Mighty Cad's 6-pot brake calipers to make sure he can stop as efficiently as he can accelerate. Oh, this supercharged engine is another A-series that sounds superb. It's a deep roar that really comes into its own on the main straight here at Kerbera. Now, as well as the unusual engine package, this car also has a Quaife straight-cut gearbox and limited slip diff. And finally, along with Jack Knight equal-length drive shafts, should mean Bill can really pull out of the corners cleanly and efficiently. Watching this car, it really looks very easy. Bill doesn't seem to be struggling with it very much. And as you can see from the in-car footage, it's so much a road car. Looks like he's just out for a Sunday drive. Come on, Bill, get a move on. Right, well, we're nearly there. I'm going to be intrigued to see what sort of time this car comes up with. But let's have a look. Okay, Bill. Supercharged A series, even more of a rarity, surely, than our 16 valve car.
Yeah, I'd say so, yes, but very creditable indeed. Yeah, the supercharger, it's it's real horsepower, it's always there.
Okay.
So, you're not waiting for you pick the throttle up, wait something to happen, it's just there. It's really good, it makes for a great track car. I like the handling of this car, in particular the grip from the tyres is very good indeed. So yeah, it works well on the track, I'm sure it'll do a great job on the road as well.
Really? Okay, and your one thing to change?
I'm going to eradicate the fuel vapour aroma. Yeah, no,
not nice.
No, I don't know what it's all about, but I like the sound effect. It's got its own little supercharger sound, but it smells of fuel all the time. Don't like that.
Okay, 1312 nitrous.
Hi, my name is Richard Lockwood. I've been building this car for 4 years now. It's powered by a Slut Racing 1312 with nitrous, and it gives 154 horsepower.
Richard's car certainly looks more purposeful than those we've seen so far. Big arches, a low slung ride height, and super sticky Yokohama rubber certainly give it an aggressive street look. Mini Sport 4-pot calipers peek out from behind the familiar Miller-Lite style alloys and give us our first indication that this car isn't all about looks. While inside, full roll cage and large Corbeau high-back bucket seats confirm this car's intentions. And look, there's the nitrous bottle. And under the bonnet, this is what you see, a really uncluttered 1312 A series running a fat Weber carb and some interesting blue and red anodized injectors. And here's where it all happens, the nitrous injection, delivering 154 brake horsepower. Now Bill's a great driver, but even he occasionally gets it a little wrong. Come on, Bill, time for take two. That's more like it. Oh, no, the sign of a true professional. We're off and away. Now, nitrous is certainly an intriguing option. Once the system has been switched on, it's only when full throttle is applied that a trigger switch is hit and the nitrous is fed into the system. Now that means that for most driving situations, the nitrous would never kick in, even if the system was armed. It's another reason why the gas bottle may last longer than you might imagine. Officially, there's only 6 minutes of gas in the canister, but to use this car with the throttle fully depressed for that length of time would take some doing. So it's going to be interesting to see how the nitrous works here at Kerbera. But Bill certainly looks clean with this car. And when he pulls out on the main straights, certainly fearsomely quick. Unlike those cars that have gone so far, Richard's car features a standard 4-speed gearbox. Although it doesn't seem to be causing Bill any grief. And Richard's always said that it's been trouble-free, despite the abuse he gives it. Now, the engine in this car has been built by Richard, but he does work for Slark Race Engineering. And there's no doubt that he's ended up with a cracking motor. It's going to be very interesting to see what sort of time Bill can manage with this car. Bill's certainly going very cleanly with this car. It's very good. Now those noises you can hear as he goes around the corners, that's just as he's running over the rumble strips. Sounds very peculiar. Okay, well it seems to have been some clean laps there, I reckon, so it could be a good time. Let's have a look. 54.52. Well, surprisingly, that's actually the slowest time we've had so far. Although it's not far off the others. I wonder what Bill's going to make of it all. Fantastic. Nitrous, Bill. I've always been a bit fascinated by nitrous. What's it like out on the track?
It drives really well. This works the best I've ever driven a nitrous car.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's a great solution all round. It delivers a real punch in this
Does
car,
it?
and
Yeah.
it feels workable, durable, like it will work in the long term. And I've not always been convinced in the past.
Good, fantastic. And what about the rest of the car? Handling, brakes, that sort of thing?
Yeah, it's a very good compromise. I think it would be. It's proved itself to be very effective on the track here. I also think it would work well on the road. So yeah, a good all-round solution there.
Okay, and what's the one thing that you'd like to change?
I'm going to have two, if you don't mind. I'll get this seat down a bit because I'm far too near to the ceiling, and I need a bigger steering wheel. 10 or 11 inch steering wheel, that one, 14 inch minimum.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it makes, enables you to work much better behind it. So.
Right, okay. All right, fantastic. We'll get into the next one. And the next car, it's a 1293 Turbo.
Bring it on.
My name's Matthew Lamb. This is my Mini. It took me about a year to build. It's powered by a Slark 1293cc turbo and produces approximately 160 brake horsepower.
Matthew Lamb's turbocharged Mini looks absolutely terrific. 10-inch alloys really suit the Mini down to the ground, while his choice of a totally loopy metal flake paint scheme is just crazy. Move inside and you can also see that Matthew doesn't want to suffer for his art. Hugely luxurious and electrically adjustable red leather Recaro seats set the tone. But it's under the bonnet where things get really busy. A decent intercooler is absolutely critical to producing big power from a turbo. Now the build quality is absolutely critical in a car like this, so just keep an eye out, because bits are falling off all over the place on this car. Actually, that's really not fair, because Matt's done a cracking job with this car. But getting the most from a turbo engine around this tight circuit is going to be quite a test for Bill. It certainly looks very quick. Now the engine in this car is another one to have been built by Slark Race Engineering, and at its heart is a 1293A series with forged pistons, Piper cam, a big valve head, and a whopping great Garrett T3 turbo slapped on the side. Oh, it's very quick. Not only does it deliver 159 bhp, but there's also 165 foot-pounds of torque to thump this car up the tarmac. Certainly sounds great as well. You can really hear that dump valve working as Bill comes on and off the throttle through Kerber's tighter sections. Fantastic. Really looks the part, this car. Pretty neat and tidy through that tricky section. You can really see how it picks up there as he comes out of the corner. Fantastic. Now, if you just think back a couple of cars to the supercharged Mini, looked as though Bill wasn't having to do anything in there. But I don't think it's the same case here. This is giving the car and him a serious workout. Just getting all that power down onto the tarmac is a real struggle. Even on a dry circuit. Just constant wheel spin as he's powering out. Oh, okay, this is it. Last chance. Can Matthew's car post a top time? Let's find out. Okay, Bill. Now, some of the cars we got here today are going to stretch the boundaries a bit in terms of road cars, but this, of course, really is a road car.
Absolutely, and it will perform perfectly as one, but it's also a massive engineering achievement, I think.
Yeah.
Considering this is the work of family production,
Yeah.
you know, they did it themselves.
Yeah.
It really does work remarkably well.
Not the most powerful turbo that we've seen before, but it still delivers the goods.
Yeah, I think they've wisely stopped inside of that extreme limit, because this does work extremely well. You know, I can nail it out. It's twitching around a bit. It steers itself all over the place, but within sensible bounds. So I'm able to use it all and stay in control. Which
Fantastic.
is good.
So it's a good package, really.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
But if you could change one thing.
I think for this car, the instrumentation needs to be sorted out. Yeah, I you know, it's not a good solution. You could go the whole hog and have a stacked dash in here, which would look really neat.
Of course.
Cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
If we wanted to go a cheaper solution, let's get the instruments up a bit into view, and let's have the important stuff that I need to see. You know, like the oil pressure right up there where I need to be able to glance it straight away.
All right. Cheers, Bill. Okay, now's a good time to have a look at our Ultimate Mini Extreme leaderboard. Here are the results coming in so far. Oh, and the big surprise has got to be Chris Hill's 1380. With just 115 bhp, that car set the second fastest lap time. In fact, there's a massive 2-second gap between the fastest car and the slowest car so far. What's more, we've still got 3 of our quickest cars to come. Bill, Ultimate Mini Extreme, we've got lots of A-Series cars here, not surprisingly, but interestingly, they all produce power in a slightly different way. Got a few of them lined up here. Just talk me through the pros and cons of each, please.
Nitrous oxide.
Yeah.
It will impress your mates.
Excellent, good.
Very exciting. Looks different.
Looks the part.
Yeah, looks shiny. Loads of horsepower.
Okay.
Sudden surge.
Yeah.
Not particularly everyday useful, and the all-round solution you might be looking for, but it certainly gives you a good surge.
Okay.
And a chunk
Big hit of power.
Exactly.
Produce quickly.
Yeah.
But possibly not the all-rounder.
No, this is the drag strip.
Okay, good, thank you. Next up, we've got a turbo car.
Yep.
Just what's happening here?
This is moved on from where the MG Metro started the game. We've got the big old intercooler here to ensure that the charge is cool. Better than nitrous, more rounded, more of an all-round performance, but still not a complete solution in terms of a refined, complete engine.
Drivability, again.
Indeed.
Okay, we've got something a bit more unusual with this one.
Yes,
CAD 16 valve.
Yes,
Straight
out of your racing car.
Okay.
This is the real solution for me. Sorry if I appear biased, but I go for this every day.
Okay.
Fantastic.
All right. Now, what are the good sides of this? Why is it so good?
You've got power delivery right the way through the range. There's no kind of tricks going on.
No.
It's just an improved breathing solution that is there all the time. Nothing's got to switch on or happen or be enhanced at the time. This engine just works in an altogether better way.
There must be some negatives there.
Cost, I suppose.
Yeah.
Fuel consumption as well, and it is this kind of engine all the time. You could say that, you know, going to the turbo, it gives you the great surge of power, but you can drive it inside the turbo performance and have a more normal performance. With this, it's racy engine all the way.
Terrific. Now, of course, these all produce around 150 brake horsepower. We've got some cars that obviously produce a little more than that, and in order to do that, they've gone an alternative route, haven't they? They've dumped the A-Series.
Right, what you got for me?
Well, let's go and see them.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Martin Walker. I originally purchased this car in 2004. It's powered by an 1800 Honda VTEC motor running throttle bodies and produces 195 brake horsepower.
The black and chrome livery suits this clubman perfectly. And it's only when you start looking a little more closely that a few clues are revealed as to its true potential. Most obvious of those are the red brake calipers, visible through those beautiful split rim alloys. Look inside and you're once again left in no doubt that this is a road car. The seats have been nicked out of a Ferrari 355, setting the tone for an upmarket feel, which is backed up by the Momo steering wheel and carbon effect dash. Under the bonnet is the Honda VTEC twin cam, which has become so popular in the mini scene over the last few years, and here it's in the larger capacity 1800cc variant. Add in Genby throttle bodies and a DTA aftermarket engine management system, and you have a recipe for 195 bhp of utterly reliable thump.
Good stuff. And red lines on this?
Red line is there's a rev limiter set to 8750 for a hard cut and a soft cut at 85.
And what do you want me to change gear at?
Whatever you like.
That'll do then.
Give it beans.
Okay, fantastic.
Oh, crikey, this already looks quick. Sat on its larger 14-inch alloys, Martin's VTEC instantly looks to ride a bit higher than some of the slammed minis Bill's already driven. And that could translate into a bit more roll through the corners and perhaps dent its lap time. That said, while the VTEC may lose through the twisty bits, it sure as hell makes up on Cobra's main straight. This car is flying. Now, while there are a number of companies offering a VTEC conversion for the Mini, this car features a Watson's engineering arrangement, which appears to have been well developed over the last few years. Indeed, this car was originally built at the factory, so it certainly ought to be working well. Now, the Clubman is the ideal candidate for this engine swap because of its longer engine bay. Head for a conventional saloon and you'll need to stretch the wings by around 80mm in order to get it to fit. The conversion centres around replacing the existing subframe with that from a modern Rover Metro. After Watson's has re-engineered it to accept the Honda power plant, it drops into place with the DTA engine management system, taking over from the complex original Honda wiring. Of course, it's not quite that simple, but this is now a well-trodden upgrade which offers great reliability, allied to big power gains. Of course, one of the other big advantages to the Honda conversion is the 5-speed gearbox, which comes for free with the engine. That's something that most Mini owners would have to pay a fortune for if they were to try and bolt it onto an A-Series. And it allows Bill to select just the right cog for every corner here at Cobra. Right, well, let's ride shotgun with Bill for this last fast lap. I think he's been putting together some very quick laps so far. Interesting to see how hard he's been working in there. Oh, it does sound good, that 16-valve engine. Sounds fantastic. Okay, last bend done. Up the main straight. Here it comes. Oh, that's a cracking time. Fastest car of the day. Right now,
That's quite something.
I know you're a big fan of the A-Series, but this VTEC, it has got to be something, isn't it?
You just have to acknowledge, what a fabulous bit of engineering it is, and the 8,000 RPM rev limit and the noises it makes is just astounding.
Yes, the throttle bodies, it's got a modified car.
It's fantastic, it really is something else.
5-speed gearbox?
Never got as far as fifth. Didn't need it, its track's not long enough, but the driving dynamics of this car are brilliant. Really enjoyed it. There's always the downside with this conversion that you lose the Mini front suspension.
Because it goes to the Metro.
Yeah, which means you don't quite have the same sort of bite with the kind of sort of steering dynamics. But We can live with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of a particularly strong as a road solution, because I think this just be so pleasant to drive.
Yeah, quite.
But I mean, the track performance is astonishing.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, you got one thing to change?
Could go on about the seats, but I think the seating is fabulous for the road. I probably would have a full harness. I think I'll make the gear stick a bit longer. I
Okay.
can reach it.
Well, hold on, you're going to have one.
Okay, I'll have the harness.
All right, okay. Next up, we're into bike powered minis.
My name's Chris Lockhart. This is my golf racing inspired retro look Mini. It's powered by a mid-engined 1100cc Honda Blackbird engine. It's slightly modified, the engine, and therefore approximately produces about 190 brake horse without gas, and when it's running full nitrous it's about 290.
Okay, hands up to all those who think this is the best looking car we've seen yet. Chris Lockhart's beautifully presented Mini looks absolutely sensational in its Gulf racing colours, big arches and really planted stance. It's just so aggressive. It has to be said that this car also pushes the boundaries further than perhaps any other here in terms of being a road legal machine. Although road registered, you can see this car doesn't even carry front number plates, and the racing roundels and external kill switches all reveal this car's true stamping ground, sprint circuits and drag strips. As such, this is surely one of the most extreme road cars you could possibly come across. Inside it's also pure race car, with a full roll cage and a curly carbon dashboard housing an Evo digital data logging instrument pack. Seating comes courtesy of American Kirky race seats, which really look trick. Under the bonnet, and there's not a lot except for an aluminium radiator. Because the engine's been relocated in the boot. A Honda Blackbird engine and its 6-speed sequential gearbox delivering 190 brake horsepower.
Right, I'm strapped in, Chris. Almost comfortable. Where's my gear lever?
Okay, slightly different on this one. Your red button puts you down into first gear, the 6-speed sequential box.
Okay.
Red one, green takes you up the box, red back down.
Okay, fine. Sounds simple. Michael Schumacher system. That'll do for me.
Just as good.
Right, okay. Rev limit?
Rev limit, you can take it up to 11,000 RPM on your changes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Chris's amazing machine certainly sounds the part out there, but he's also warned us that the suspension hasn't yet been finally fettled, so it'll be interesting to see how much that hinders the obvious potential of the engine package. With no conventional gear stick to deal with, Bill's reliant on the electronic change offered by the steering wheel mounted buttons. This should mean ultra-quick changes, but you can occasionally hear this setup missing a change for some reason, with the revs kicking up before the change is engaged. A bit more tweaking on the linkage would probably dial that out. Oh, it certainly looks good though. The specification of this car really is breathtaking, and once again we've got a hugely capable braking package with Monster CAD 6-pot calipers and vented discs up front, allied to Honda Fireblade discs and calipers out back. Ah, well, there you go. Looks like Bill's just struggling a little bit to get to grips with this machine. Looks very quick when it's going though. Let's see it from inside. You see those buttons on the steering wheel? They're down, down. And the corner all the way round. Let's see him go up again. Here we go. Oh, working a treat there. That really looks fantastic. Certainly battling away in there. Crikey. Lots of work going on in there at the moment. Up and down those gears. gearshift working perfectly there. What's a fearsome machine? Here we go, Bill's time's nearly up. Just wonder what those times are going to be like. Oh, it doesn't look like we're going to find out quite. Oh, Bill, that sounds fantastic.
Yeah, it's remarkable. Absolutely stunning bit of kit.
And it's a big power bike as well, isn't it? It's not just a sort of standard bike engine. It's been a lot of work done on this. 190 brake horsepower.
Yes, indeed. It's absolutely superb. It's at the beginning of its development cycle, and it needs some fine tuning. It needs actually more than fine tuning. It needs fundamental suspension solution that gives the car the sort of stability that it needs for you to be able to exploit the obvious power and the potential that it has.
And that's because of the ambitious nature of the way this car's suspension has been developed?
I think it's so radical and different to anything else. You can't pick up a textbook and find a solution. You need to tinker with it, play with it, work on it, and refine something yourself. So it's hard. It's a hard project to take on, and they'll get there with it. I'm quite sure.
Yeah, quite a performer, I should think, when that's done.
Once they're there with it, yeah, absolutely.
There's some lovely details here, like we've got a great dash and the instrumentation, and also you've got this unusual gear change on this car.
Yes, not so much gear change, just the two buttons.
Yeah, just buttons.
Up and down. Yeah, which is absolutely amazing. You can just keep the thing nailed when you change up the gears. Click the button and up it goes.
That's terrific, of course.
Yeah, yes indeed.
And of course, we've not even talked about the fact that this actually is plumbed for nitrous, this car, which will give it another 100 bhp hit. So that's 290 when it's all really sorted. So it's going to be a phenomenal machine, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
It's certainly going to be an Extreme Mini when that's all done.
Remarkable.
What's the one thing you'd change on the car?
I'm going to have two. Sorry about that. The first one is, I think, the driver's position has been set in order to put the engine in the best place for weight distribution, and I think to some extent we've sacrificed a bit too much there in terms of the overall package. We've compromised a bit too much for the driver. I'm not especially comfortable in this, so I think that's possibly maybe needs to be looked at. And the other thing, much more simple really, we need a gear indicator on here. There's nothing to tell you which gear you're in, and in the end you do get the hang of it. But I think the problem with that is you need to be fairly experienced with the car. So for anybody to jump in this car, they're going to struggle initially because you don't know which gear you're in. You're sort of changing up and down the box and you've lost yourself as to where you're at. So that's something I think I'd look at.
Those are your changes?
Yeah.
Okay, onwards and upwards.
Magic.
Hi, my name is Matt Fox. I commissioned this car to be built by Z Cars. It's powered by two Yamaha R1 engines and produces over 340 brake horsepower.
Be afraid. Be very, very afraid. Matt Fox's twin-engine Mini may not be the best looking of the cars we've seen here today, but the sticker running along the top of the screen tells you all you need to know. This car has a theoretical performance advantage over anything else we've managed to assemble here today of 150 brake horsepower. Inside the cockpit, there's a stark reality to what this car is all about. Basic Kirky seats, a curly carbon dash, and Motec instrument pods set the tone. Although it's the utterly out-of-this-world twin gear shift that makes the heavyweight statement. But this is what you really wanted to see. Two Yamaha R1 engines sat alongside each other and driving the rear wheels via Z-Car's unique drive box. It's this extraordinary box of tricks that allows both engines to run completely separate of each other, yet mesh into one power output to drive the rear wheels.
I know I've got to start the two engines, so on here,
Switching down.
on there, start
Individual
there.
buttons, yeah.
Remind me, what's the score here?
First is forward,
One forward.
Second to sixth back.
Okay. 2 gear levers, so
Yeah, split
kilos,
but
yeah,
do them at the same time. Yeah.
fine.
This car is going to be really quick. You can just see it already. Can you see the front wheel lifting? The inside front wheel, if you watch it, every time he goes through a fast corner, tucks right up. Wow, and I can't believe that sound. Listen carefully to those two engines, and you can almost hear that they're running independently of each other. This isn't a V8 where everything's in sync. There's almost a slightly schizophrenic nature about this power plant. Hold on. Okay, now as this car accelerates up the main straight, I want you to watch how Bill changes gear. Don't forget there's 2 gear sticks there, so he's pulling on both of them at the same time. And if he didn't do that, he'd start changing one gearbox and not the other. So he'd have one gear running in 5th, let's say, and the other in 4th. So it's critical that he pulls back evenly. Let's see again. You can see the 2 gear sticks there too. Up we go. And again, don't forget it's back to go up the gearbox. You really can see that this car is instantly quick. Certainly looks far quicker than anything we've seen today. It'll be fascinating to see what the actual lap times are going to be at the end. Okay, now from this angle you can see that the car's not running any rear glass. Now Matt has run the car with lightweight Perspex panels in place, but today he's preferred to maximise cooling efficiency. As with the lack of any front grille, it does tend to give the car a slightly unfinished look, but that's perhaps not the priority here. And let's not forget that this is a fully road-legal machine. You wouldn't believe it, but it is. Registered, taxed, MOT'd, and on the road. This really is the most extraordinary car. Bill's got to have got in some really clean, fast laps with this machine, I'm sure. So it's just a question of whether he can have kept it neat and tidy and delivered the lap time that he really wants. Let's see. Wow, that's fantastic. Gordon Bennett, Bill. I've never seen anything like it.
Nice. Words fail me. Absolutely astonishing. It's just a phenomenal machine.
And it really looked like it. Very, very quick, and quick through the corners too.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I think that's as much as anything what is remarkable. Okay, Z cars fit 2 bike engines in the back of it. We shouldn't be surprised. But the fact that they've made it into a machine that works and handles and is drivable and is not scary is just Fabulous.
That is remarkable. And you've got two engines, of course, behind you. Do you think there's a sort of weight issue or anything there?
No. The car's got plenty of movement. There's a lot of suspension movement being engineered into it, and that means that it moves. I think it's taking account of the movement, the weight in the car, and you can feel what it's doing. So I feel happy with it. It's great.
Just works. Fantastic. All right. Well, throughout this, you've had the option to change one thing. So,
well, I could start off about the creature comforts, but I'm just going to change the frequency with which I drive it. I'll have a daily dose.
All right, okay. It's a good therapy.
It's just, every day, once a day will be great.
Fantastic. Bill, that's us done.
Magic.
Okay, and here's another opportunity to have a look at our Ultimate Mini Extreme leaderboard. It seems that order has been re-established by our big hitters. Only the Blackbird powered car has suffered, but both the VTEC and Twin R1 Mini have delivered some big lap times. In fact, the latter is the only car to break the magic 52-second barrier. That's an astonishing feat. Okay, Bill, that's been quite a day.
Yeah, we've worked hard.
I don't think we could have had a more diverse selection of cars together.
No, they've been fascinating. There's a wide range of solutions, and I think we've seen the best of a lot of them.
Now, we've been quietly timing these laps whilst you've been out there. We've not told you any of the results.
Right, yeah.
Now, I think the fastest car is possibly going to be more obvious.
Yeah, I would obviously expect this car to have been the fastest.
It is. Matt's car, 52.64. So 52 seconds, 64. Pretty quick. But there are a couple of other oddities in here. Now, for instance, two cars that were quite close together, Nitrous and Turbo. Of those two cars, do you have any idea which of those was quicker? Which would you think might have been quicker?
I would guess that the Nitrous would have been quicker out of the two.
And you'd be right. It
good,
was.
good.
It was just a smidge quicker. All right, now, the least powerful car that we got here, I'll just tell you, posted the 4th fastest time.
Yeah, that was the best car to drive dynamically. Hasn't got the best grunt, but handling-wise, that was a mega thing.
Okay.
Really easy to drive. I was immediately into it.
All right, so let's look back over the cars then. We started, in fact, with Chris Hill's 1380. It really was a super sorted car, wasn't it?
Yeah, fabulous.
Yeah, a really good one. And then we were on to the CAD 16 valve.
Yeah, I did enjoy that.
It's an astonishingly quick car. Another good time from that car.
Indeed. Yeah, I like that car. I love the noise it made. Drove really well.
And it was fantastic. It was a convertible.
Yeah.
I thought that was hysterical.
Plenty of fresh air.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Absolutely amazing. A very effective car.
Yes.
We had John O'Eels' supercharged car. Really interesting alternative, that, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Different. Like the noise.
Yeah.
It's really distinctive. I enjoy driving that car. I think it's a real road car. That's an important consideration.
Good, strong performance. And then we were into the Nitrous car.
Yeah.
Very effective.
Yes, indeed. I think one thing that needs to be noted of that car, a largely inexpensive solution.
Yes.
We've got some very expensive cars here.
Yeah.
That wasn't one of them.
Yeah, absolutely, of course. Then we were into a turbo. It's always big power from turbos.
Yes, indeed. You're always dealing with the lag issue.
Yeah.
Reasonably under control in that car, although the twiddly bits of the track exposed it in that sense. But I thought that the straight line performance was good. I could get that nailed with a fair amount of confidence.
Yes,
so I
absolutely.
did enjoy that.
It was an effective turbo.
Indeed, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, not always the case, I think.
No, absolutely.
Then we were off into the non-A series cars, and we started with the VTEC 1800. Good, strong engine.
Superb, yeah, and sound.
Oh, it sounds
yeah,
fantastic.
yeah,
Absolutely
really did enjoy that car. And if I was going to choose one for my drive home from here, several hundred miles, that'd have to be the one, because I can
almost
enjoy
has
the
to be,
one.
doesn't
Yeah,
it?
absolutely.
Almost has got to be. Then we were off into the bike scene, and we had Chris Lockhart's Blackbird car, big power.
Yeah. That for me, that's unfinished business.
Yes.
We'll have to get back to that one day.
A return on that. I think is definitely the way to go.
It needs some refinement, and I'm sure.
And in fact, from there, we then went totally barking and ended up at this, the most insane machine I've ever seen.
Yes, and what can you add? I mean, just absolutely astonishing performance, but beyond that, it does work as well.
That's the critical issue, isn't it?
That's what's so important. Yeah, if it just did it in a straight line, you'd be like, yeah, okay, but it does handle, it drives the corners.
Wonderful major machine that actually works really well.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so if we could choose our Ultimate Mini Extreme, it's got to be, which do you think?
I'm going to just first of all have to comment on one or two of those we're going to have to leave aside, and Chris's 1380, fabulous car. I really did enjoy that. I thought it was great, very, very good indeed, well sorted, beautiful car. I really enjoyed the KAD, Dave Usher's KAD car.
Just fantastic.
Fabulous, yeah. But the title must go to this car. I can't see it any other way.
It's got to, hasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it is just so good.
Yeah, because it works.
Yeah, exactly. It's extreme.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
That's it, you can go home now.
Excellent.
He's just in a car at the moment. Is Bill your daddy? Is he? I'm sorry, I'm looking after his phone because he's just in a car at the moment. Hold on a second, and I'll hold on a second, I'll stop.
If I could do cross eyes now, I'll do them right now. Do what?
Cross eyes?
I can't.
You can't.
Hang on. This is how I've taught Max to do it. Is that any good?
And I think he'll also throw up a few big surprises. So what cars have we got here today? Let's reveal... Once again, we're here at Kerbera Sprint Circuit. And once again, we've gathered together a really serious selection of... I'm sorry, that's it. And to add a little spice to the occasion, this time we're going to time the laps. That's going to be very revealing. And I think a few cars will be quite that up. To a frankly insane 350 brake horsepower. So buckle up as we find the UK's... It's got to handle well, that goes without saying. But it's also got to deliver... It's got to handle well, that goes without saying. But it's also got to deliver a reasonably refined engine solution. Can you hear? Yep. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. 6, 7.
Yeah,
8.
I think we need to
get more of that.
Yeah,
more of the squirrel.
To the position of the engine.
All right.
I think that's possibly taken it a little too far.
That's your phone.
It is my phone in your, but it's in your pocket.
Chris Allenson of Z Cars was looking after Matt Fox's twin R1 engine car when we wanted it for the filming of Extreme. And when he offered to trailer the car down to Kerbera, he also mentioned he was in the midst of building a new demo car. We couldn't include it in the main running order because it wasn't going to be finished in time for our day. But when Chris rolled up, he revealed he'd also brought along his own car, having bolted on the suspension at 1 o'clock that morning. So this run was the car's very first outing of any kind, unregistered, without windows, and completely lacking any trim or even seatbelts. It certainly wasn't finished. But that didn't stop Chris jumping in and giving it some serious grief. It's powered by a standard Suzuki Hayabusa engine, so it's good for over 160 brake horsepower. And as you can see, it instantly looked quick out on the track. It's an amazing feat. And then, just to top it off, he reminded us of his grass tracking origins.
Getting a bit confident, isn't he?